Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Here's a system that goes against all the principles of what all the drainage contractors are telling you. Perforated pipe from the downspout, holes pointing upwards, going into a makeshift channel drain, holes pointing upwards. It's been in the ground for 15 years and it worked. The object of doing something yourself, whether it's changing a light bulb or putting in drainage, is to make your system work. This lasted about 15 years. Not bad for a DIY. To give you some idea of how much water that channel drain was collecting, you see the street and the hill? That water rushes down this street, pours down through the driveway, and ends up in the channel drain. And it worked. For 15 years it worked. There is a culvert out front that's supposed to collect that water as it comes down the street, and drops into the yard. But you can see the slope of this yard. It is tremendous. And it has been pouring down into this makeshift channel drain, French drain, for 15 years and working well. But now, of course, it is beginning to fail. The holes pointing upward, it allowed mostly the debris to drop down into the line. And you saw that little bit of pea gravel covering it from the downspout. It also dropped down into the line. And it is failing. But it was here for 15 years and it worked quite well during that time. I also looked down in the crawl space, and you can see no one has looked in here for 15 years. But yeah, that all that water moving down from the front, this crawl space is really wet. There's no water standing at this time, but you can see evidence of the water where it's pooling, and this needs to be corrected as well. However, I think that solving the negative grade will fix this problem. Okay, let's look at this again. We have a downspout drain that has perforated pipe coming from the downspout. You can see the big holes that are in this pipe. That's one problem. The next problem is, of course, that this is perforated pipe and it's running along the foundation, only for a few feet right here. But you can see it's uphill and it came down into this channel drain that they made using grates, perforated pipe, and gravel. Why does this system work? Well, it worked because the channel drain has grates on the top, but it needs to collect that water from the top, not from the bottom. And that's why that worked. And you can see how well it drained around the side of the house. They've got the downspout splashing out. And this is all draining now naturally to the backyard. So the system worked for a long time. So as we look at this house from the front, you can see there was a swale, the culvert system out front, that does catch a lot of water. But look at the negative grade at this house, and that's why the crawl space is wet. So we need to address that issue as well as put in a real channel drain across that front. You can see that the water from the road does try to drop into that swale, but it all ends up down in here in this makeshift catch basin or French drain or channel drain that the homeowner tried to make. And it worked. And the reason it worked is because he actually dug this out quite well. And it does run and slope to the side of the house. This goes against what all the drainage contractors say. Don't put perforated pipe from the downspouts. Always put your holes pointing down. Surround it with gravel. But yet this system worked for 15 years. And it really is a good example of what I like to say. If you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. And this system worked for 15 years. We've got them on the schedule and we'll get to their install very soon. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.